Good evening, everybody. How's everybody today? I hope your week has gone well. I hope your day is going well. And I hope you are ready to be maybe mildly entertained. I'm going to confess up front that today's title for this live stream is a bit of a clickbait, isn't it? Kullervo versus Gauss Prime, which is the best melee frame for me? I should have simply cut out the last two words in the question, but I didn't. So I did actually touch on this yesterday, but I thought I'd try and work a little harder today by leveling the playing field as much as I can. Straight off the bat, I ought to define what a melee is. Technically, a melee is hand-to-hand combat between groups. Now, granted, I'm going to be doing this solo, so this is going to be against a group. I think that's sufficient. So, hand-to-hand combat, no companion, no other weapons, just a big stick. Okay, with sharp bits attached. Set up the same for both. And have I got this set up right? Yes, I'm going to be using. I'll add in. It's going to be the same weapon for both. Same settings. Probably not the best of those, but whatever. And the goal is simply to see who can kill the most. And it's going to be in a fairly short time because I'll do it on the steel path and I'll do it on lure and I'll do it with is it Sturfler? I'll find out in a second. So I grant you, I am being very, very specific in this in quotes test, because if the claim was the best combat Warframe, that actually might be quite different. But we're not talking about generic combat, we're talking about hand-to-hand fighting. So big stick, no companion, no magic, that is abilities, just hitting something repeatedly until it falls over. And I know that Rufus is standing here, but I can assure you he is not my companion. Because I don't. Well, hey, Cronius. Did you know what? I don't think I've got access to Simulacrum.
Well,
I'm not positive, but I don't think I do.
Nora is, and as she wipes the sleep from her eyes, she wonders,
Simulacrum is.
can she
Oh, grief.
who is she?
Cephalon Samaris?
Someone
I'm not sure I have access to Simulacrum. Do I?
Come on, sweet things. Give it up.
But anyway, does it matter? It almost doesn't matter. And I know this is a bit of a repeat of yesterday, but I wanted to do something specific. And Sturfler, that's a challenge. Hey, we can explore it further. But as you know, this one's hard. So,
Make music.
it makes sort of sense to try it, I mean, yesterday, I think is actually a pretty fair test. I'm not even going to do slam attacks if I can avoid them. Anyway, this isn't really supposed to be completely serious. This is just supposed to be me having a bit of fun. Alright, that was as expected. How did we do? Melee kills 39. 39? That's a heck of a lot better than I managed yesterday. Alright, 39. Let's dig out Kullervo. Same weapon, pretty much the same, I say, kind of thing. Focused on health and armor. This is actually the same arcanes too. He does have one advantage in that he's using steel charge. That gives him an advantage, actually, and of course he does have this whole. Well, actually, the wind-up speed is going to help. Heavy attacks I'm not going to be using. So, we'll see how it goes. And any variation is no companion again. Remember, this is melee, not combat. Combat would include, anything. Machine guns, abilities / magic.
These are worthy foes. Underestimate them at your peril.
It's actually very difficult for me not to do slam attacks. be hilarious. He actually ended up winning. Who knows? That's why I'm doing this. Let's find out. Okay, that's a distinct point against him. He died. Okay.
Darling, you shouldn't have. All these lovely warm bodies just waiting to be opened up like prey.
30. So, granted, what I ought to do is run that test again and again and again. But, which one did better in hand-to-hand combat? Gauss did. Yesterday, I actually concluded they were pretty much the same. Yes, you see, what you're doing now is saying, yes, but you need to do this and you need to do that. I'm trying to do a couple of tests based on, similar setups. Yeah, I could use armor strip. I would have had to use it on both. Would it have made a difference? Might have lasted longer, but the whole point wasn't to try and complete the mission. It was to see, okay, which one kills the most before the mission fails, and the simple answer is Gauss Prime did. That was a melee. As close to a melee as I can get. And in fact, Kullervo had the advantage with that aura doing, something like 60% more damage. Okay, granted that's per squad, but that does work on them as well. So, there you go. Is that a definitive answer? No. Does it answer the question, which is the best combat Warframe? No. If you start saying, well, okay, if we do this and we do that and we do the other, and, you need to, you could take this apart. This isn't supposed to be hugely serious. But at least for me, Gauss Prime wins that particular one, especially seeing as he didn't die, and Kullervo did. So, there you go. And yeah, I know. It's not intended to be serious. Right, let's go do something completely different. Now that I've probably irritated half the internet who watches this. I'm curious about the events because it's the 13th anniversary, so we're going to do this. And I'm actually going to grab oh, by the way, I did get a bunch of aura mods from Nightwave. But I'm going to grab Titania Prime for this. So, hey, I can always revisit this sometime when I've had a bit more practice, or I'm a better gamer, or something like that. Truth to be said, yeah, which would be the best? It all comes down to how you define it, doesn't it? To me, melee means one thing. I've defined it. I then operated under that definition. I don't think I was too unreasonable. Yeah, that's the one I want. Come on, Misfits. Let's go and do some 13th anniversary stuff. Oh, and don't forget, in some ways, that's subjective. You could always argue second time around, oh, your fingers are a bit more tired, or this kind of thing. Yeah, if I wasn't doing it more for a joke than anything else, then I would run it multiple times. I would change the order I do them. So start off with, there's all kinds of things. I just wanted to do this a little bit more structured than I did yesterday. And as I say, it's all a bit of fun. I commented yesterday that the builds I have seen for Kullervo don't actually focus on melee, they focus on abilities. But then that's the nature of people, really. What I mean when I say melee is actually more traditional. I really don't know what every average person means when they say melee. I think they just mean combat, which is not quite the same thing. Oh! Do you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to make myself public again. Sorry about that. Right. God, I didn't want to do it on the steel path.
The enemy is at our doorstep. You must defend our equipment until reinforcements arrive.
This is different. Slightly off-putting. Wow, this is... Thank goodness. Thank goodness for razor wings. This is interesting. Someone ought to tell the bailiff defector that walking around like that is probably not his best option.
That's the last of them. Objective is secure. Let's go home.
Operator, communications await your attention. Please check your inbox at your earliest convenience.
Well, it's early where Nora is, and as she wipes the sleep from her eyes, she wonders.
I was going to say, what's disruption? Oh yes, I remember disruption. Let everybody else pick up the keys, I shoot things. Is that a rabbit vomiting a rainbow?
Sentient waveforms, operator. Strange interlink splattered in corpus crosstalk. Bypass that console, so we might get a better understanding.
Oh no! You've caught me! Me and my little partnership. Where's that Lotus when you need her? Now, sniff, sniff, betrayers. See if you can find the cheese.
Outgoing communication cipher. Not much of a trick for orders, is it? Oh, how scandalous. Alan's system has a back door. Shall we listen in?
When test subjects have arrived, right on schedule. CT, prepare my amalgams for further evolution. I've baited the traps. Showtime, CT. Inform our partners another trial has begun. Prep interference routines. Wait and wait. It's time for Alec to get back on the corporate map. Yes. In battle, advantage goes to the one most willing to die. My demolists. Well, they aren't just willing. They want it.
Scans indicate these conduits are connected to a massive stockpile of resources. Just how long is the operator planning to fight for?
Actually, that's a pretty good roll for... Do you know what? That's actually a pretty good roll for Titania. Hunt down the blowy up ones. That's pretty good task for her. She can get there quickly and...
We have unfinished business. Shall we? CT, integrate this for the next generational cycle. We need to recoup aggressively. What if we make the town more of a threat? We see what these amalgams can do. Good. Keep it up. Every single bit stream of this carnage only makes me richer. This week on Nightwave, Tenno lose big, give up on life. Details at the next cycle. As a man with everything to lose, I make a point of employing the opposite. Release the devilist. What did they get? This is spiraling on us. I'm hemorrhaging inventory. We're just getting reacquainted. Don't leave the party just yet. Destroy them, my amalgams! Bait followed by battery followed by bait. I'm getting bored. CT, let's salt our interference routines and dispatch the next amalgams. Yes. combat results to our partners, but omit our losses.
For some reason I hadn't really realized that Titania really is good at hunting down I can never remember what they're called. The ones that like to blow up. He is actually pretty good for that.
Operator, a communication awaits your attention.
A small wobbly statue of Excalibur Dex. Alright, let's do the last one. Ooh. Hang on. Survival. That level? Okay, that calls for... At that level, I'm definitely digging out the Gauss. Where's the Velox? All I've got to do now is remember, do I have everything upgraded? No, I want... Oh, grief. Which is the one that I normally use on this? Hang on. Doctor resistance. No.
Operator, are you enjoying
Sprint
the
boost.
view?
There we go. That's my usual. And let's see. And because it's me, I'm going to go with my usual. There we go. That feels so much better. Oh, and let's take... Who are we going to take with us? This is kind of weird. Oh, there we go. Let's take Achilles. Haven't taken haven't given him a bit of a workout for a while. What do you think, Achilles? Feel like stretching your cat-like legs? Are you going to come over and say hello so that I can demonstrate I do actually hug my pets? Hmm? Actually, one thing I do want to find, hang on a second, is what's the damage they recommend for this, if any? It doesn't really tell me.
Life support has been cut off. They're trying to choke you out. Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support.
doing.
Life support on the way. Delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time. Life support activated. Prepare for life support. Support capsule is now available. Get ready for our capsule. Support capsule. Life support has been replenished. Go to extraction. Life support has been replenished. Additional life support has arrived. Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
That was straightforward, a bit noisy.
Messages in your inbox, operator. They are
Oh,
not
thank
as
you.
encrypted as they should be.
Whoops. Bash my head. Is that it? That was it, wasn't it? Alright. What to do next? I can think of one thing I should do next. And that is take a quick potty break. I will be right back. Right, so Acronymous there said, why not try Simulacrum? Okay. I don't know where Simulacrum is. Let me find out. Warframe Simulacrum. There we go. Artificial Encephalon Samaris. Yes, I'm just checking. Let's go have a little look, because I don't think I've never actually used it. Oh, must acquire a Simulacrum access key. Yes, I am. Yeah, the other one is not is not reliable. I know. Found that out once when there was it wasn't properly updated with certain vaulted relics, and it got drop rates wrong. So yeah, I do use the proper. Well, I'll tell you. I'll show you. You can see for yourself. So this is the one that I'm actually. Oops, hang on. Excuse me a second. Problem with two keyboards. Yeah, no, this is the one that I'm Oh no, here we go. Yeah, I got it. That one. That's the one that I use by preference. All right. Let's go have a chat with Cephalon Samaras, because I've never actually used it. Yeah, absolutely. Am I using the wrong one? Okay, let's have a little look at that. Oh, right. Oh, that's useful. Yeah. Thank you for that. Alright, let's go have a chat with Cephalon Samaras. Where is he? And I need a simulacrum key.
Tenno, you will make an excellent hunter.
Left side. Let's see. Where's a simulacrum key? Simulacrum access key. Insufficient standing. Oh! Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I don't have sufficient standing with him. So...
This is how I can help you.
Yeah, of course I don't. Yeah, I've never... Yeah, I need to be able... Sorry, yes, okay, I forgot. Never mind. I'll have to do that at some other point. What was the other one you suggested? Elite Sanctuary Onslaught.
Do not disappoint me, hunter.
I can never remember where that is. No. Where is the Sanctuary Onslaught? Oh, here we go. Alright, so let's give that a bash. Let's go and see which one is the more survivable. And I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. Even though this slows me down, actually. That's one of the mods on here, gets me up to speed. Oops, I forgot something. Sorry, Achilles.
Remember the old war, operator?
This one needs to
Order
be...
seems to have misplaced those memories.
What kind of damage does it recommend, if any? Syndicate. Yeah. Alright. Oh, I should have done it solo, shouldn't I? Let's see anyway. Now, this is technically a melee, because there's a group of us against a group of everything else. Oh, I'm using slam attacks already. Okay, I'll allow myself to do that. Ah, oops. That doesn't count. Where's the conduit? I can't find the conduit.
Hurry, Hunter. The conduit is closing fast.
Yes, and I can't even find it. It's up here somewhere. This isn't as controlled a test because you.
Open. Our experiment moves to a new zone. Do not weep for these creatures. They are immortal. They can and have faced 1 billion deaths. You, however, do not enjoy the protections of synthesis. For you, failure has real-life consequences.
No, I'm still not using abilities. So I am using slam attacks though, which I did not do, and heavy attacks if I can get them to wind up right. Come here, you. One thing to say is when I come back and do this with Kullervo, I will be playing him almost. This is sort of my default mode of melee, to be honest. distinctly unsophisticated.
Proceed.
No particular finesse.
There is no conclusive evidence these dated mortals possess memory precisions. They should retain no recollection of what you have done to them.
Unsophisticated, that's definitely me. Of course, as a test, you know, you're going to say, well, how long are you going to play it? Hey, that's nice. Wouldn't mind seeing what your setup for that was. I did not want to end up down here. Oh, for heaven's sake. I obviously need to work on getting that simulacrum key, because that would probably be a very useful little thing to have. Remind me at some point to get my standing up with.
A data conduit is open. Go now.
Because the whole point of this was to test out two Warframes with the same device, Kullervo and Gauss Prime. So I might as well, it doesn't really matter. Don't forget, this is a test. It's not supposed to be some kind of, here's the ideal way to use your Warframe. It says, right, it is to compare Kullervo, a supposedly top of the rank, you know, the best melee frame. So it doesn't really matter what I'm using, as long as it's the same for both the systems I'm testing. Yeah. And I did earlier do what is arguably a more controlled test using the steel path, same weapons. I didn't use slam attacks. I don't think I did. And I did it on Sturfler to see, you know, who could survive and who could get the most kills. And the answer was Gauss. Didn't need reviving, got the most melee kills. And yeah, you know, you could say, well, you're not playing to his strengths. It's melee, hand-to-hand combat. Easy, but that's not melee. That's not melee. That is magic. That's combat. And which is the best combat Warframe is a different question. Not which is the best melee. Don't forget, even the game qualifies melee kills as hand-to-hand kills. Did you beat this thing over the head with a sharpened stick? How many times did you do that? So, you know, when people say, oh, it's the best melee mech, oh, okay, I'm testing melee, not combat. Oh, well, it is combat, but melee is hand-to-hand.
I've opened a new data conduit. Proceed immediately.
Where is it? Come on, where is it?
You are running out of time.
Oh, shut up.
To the data conduit.
Well, look, I mean, this is the thing. You can argue about it all ways to Sunday. You can say, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. I can't please everybody. All I can do is say, well, here's how I play with melee. Let's have a comparison. And if it turns out that for me, Gauss is better, then for me, Gauss is better. And then you can say, well, you know, you're not playing Kullervo properly. Well, you know, it gets complicated. All I can do is try and come up with as fair a test as I can, and then say for me. And don't forget, the title says for me. Doesn't mean for you. Doesn't mean for everybody else. Doesn't necessarily mean everyone else's definition. I've tried to be careful about my definition. Hand-to-hand combat. That's what we're talking about. No projectile weapons, no fancy magic. And if somebody doesn't like, oh, you know, the results, then, you know, we'll say, then define what you mean. It's very easy to be loose with definitions. I've tried to be consistent and precise. I mean, as Acronymus said, you know, Kullervo's speciality is actually his abilities. Well, then that's not melee, is it? That's not hand-to-hand combat. That's magic, essentially. And as I said, which is best at combat is a different question. That's actually likely to be.
A new data conduit is open. Our experiment moves to a new zone.
All I could do is attempt to be as fair as I can in the comparison. I mean, if you've got a Warframe that can basically have the equivalent of a tactical nuke firing off every 5 seconds, and you compare it with an Excalibur or something, well, that's not a fair comparison. And because this is hand-to-hand combat, one of the things I do value in that is survivability. You know, it doesn't matter how good you are hand-to-hand. If you can't survive for more than 5 seconds, then you're not very good at it. In fact, this test arguably, I think, favors Kullervo in some respects, because I'm not, because of the attempt to use some of the similar. No, I don't know what you mean by passive. All I want is how well it does in beating things over the head with a stick. Like I say, if people don't like my definition of melee, then go check a dictionary or redefine what you mean.
Enter the conflict now. This experiment will fail if your efficiency drops further.
Sorry, pretty, yeah, I mean, you know, Kullervo's, you know, very good wind-up efficiency, heavy damage. If that would give it a heck of an advantage, that counts. I mean, that's part of melee. I'm going to use it. Well then,
Hunter, you exceed expectations. You are far more exciting and complex than any specimen in my sanctuary.
okay, 252 melee kills. That's not fantastic, but
There's a buzz in Fortune. Something's changing. Something's growing. In the basement below the basement.
if it's using, yes, that would count as using an ability. That's magic. And again, the qualifier in the title is for me, and I am known for forgetting about abilities. It's one of my defining features playing Warframe. I always forget to use abilities, except under specific circumstances, and the only Warframe where I use abilities a lot is Titania Prime. So, and again, melee, hand-to-hand combat. That's what it's about. In hand-to-hand combat, speed counts, armor counts, shields count, health counts, and the ability to beat something up with a stick. All of those are physical qualities. Yeah. You can argue this round and round and round forever. And again, at which point we have to say, okay, which is the best combat mech? Sorry, combat Warframe. I mean, you could also probably argue, well, you just ran that for 20 minutes. You know, you'll be tired. You won't be as fair to Kullervo as you should be. Again, this is all a bit of fun. It's almost no way to do this scientifically except possibly in the simulacrum. Yeah, no. The original melee, I think, was actually part of tournaments, hand-to-hand combat, and so therefore your strength, skill, armor, and weapons were what counted. So, yeah. No abilities. Passives are fine. I can't do anything about passives anyway. So, you know, I think that's not unreasonable. And just to try and give Kullervo the best chance, I'm going to take a moment to, yeah. Because that kind of thing does get tiring for an old man like me. Where'd I put him? Yeah, we're on default melee. I even call it default melee. Yeah, this is pretty much... He's got steel charge. You know, he has this 75% heavy attack efficiency, 100% heavy attack wind-up speed on all melee weapons. That should give him one hell of an advantage. And they're both actually using Arcane Strike and Arcane Fury. He's as fast as I can get him easily. It's not as fast as Gauss, but then Gauss starts off faster. I don't think I've tried. I don't think I've ever had a Cyanax. Yeah. Yeah. It's for me. It's an interesting test to do. Because as I'm discovering, you know, what is Kullervo's strength? It's not necessarily melee. It's his abilities, and I always forget those. So, yeah. Styanax, I ought to take a look. While I'm taking a... Styanax. Oh, he looks kind of cool, actually. How'd you get him? Oh, Chipper. Oh, okay. I got a Volt. Okay, I'm gonna have to run. I'll tell you what, Styanax actually looks kind of cool. Excuse me a moment. Right, actually, to make things as fair as possible, I am going to take a momentary break, and so that I am as ready as I can be for the next test. Hello, Prakash. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. That's me about as rested as I can be before I do this again. Ah. I envy you your nap, except for the fact that I actually had a nap this afternoon as well. Oh, let's make sure I'm being utterly fair here. Yep, I am. That's about as fair as I can be. Just a melee weapon and natural ability. Such as it is. Alright. Syndicate. Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. Let's go for this again. Yeah, simulacrum would actually be a better test. Oh, and it's just me too.
Test. Destroy all specimens as quickly as possible. In this chaos, the true nature of these creatures is revealed.
Well, he got the Incarnon faster. I never got Incarnon on the other one. Maybe I shouldn't have used an Incarnon weapon. Oh, we do have a group now. Oops. Well, that's only fair. I did the same thing with Gauss.
A data conduit is open. Go now.
I mean, I don't know. As far as I can tell, I'm playing them both in pretty much the same way. So, let's see how it goes. You know, my specialty, brute force and ignorance. Especially the ignorance. Oh, and the brute force, really.
A new data conduit is open.
Where's the data conduit?
Our experiment moves to a new zone.
I mean, what I really ought to do is try all of my Warframes, get them all properly modded, you know. That would be an interesting long-term experiment. I have to really, really define my use cases and everything. Not use cases? No, not use cases per se. Oh, I'm going to the wrong way. How many is this? 7 zones? One thing that is very interesting is that, and it's probably because of all the health pickups, is, you know, quite survivable. I mean, this is only level, what, 60 or something. But
Proceed immediately. This experiment torture. Lab rats also feel pain, yet their suffering creates knowledge. If the lessons learned today save lives in the future, then the ends justify my means.
That comment I said about him being surprisingly survivable without shields. Yeah, you'll notice that his health is dropping fairly quickly. Now, technically, what I ought to do is
must experience unmatched stress. Increase your effort.
yeah.
Data conduit is open. Go now. Efficiency is hunter. The sanctuary will go on without you.
Okay, so actually, I got more melee kills. How many did I get with Gauss? 252? 312. So yeah, you know, when I play like I normally do, at least on that so far, yeah, Kullervo did slightly better, did somewhat better, quite a bit better. So there you go, I suppose. From that one could conclude Kullervo in hand-to-hand combat can do better than Gauss. I'm slightly disappointed, to be honest, because obviously my bias, and I do have one, is in favor of the Gauss. But that worked out better, and that was only reaching zone 6. I think the Gauss reached zone 7.
Operator, are you enjoying the view?
So yeah, there you go. Hang on, what do we have here? Oh no. Oh, Gauss by far. Yes, of course it's Gauss. I'm not going to drop Kullervo because in that particular test he did better. Because in Sturfler, Gauss Prime did better, and Kullervo actually had to revive once. So it's probably going to be more specific than this. Which do I enjoy playing more? Titania Prime. Yeah, between the two of them though, yeah, I'd probably go with Gauss. I suspect Gauss is more survivable, but I would need to, yeah, exactly, that's the problem. This isn't supposed to be definitive. There's so many variables. How many squad mates? On this particular one, you notice I got the Incarnum without even thinking about it. Doing the same thing with the Gauss, I didn't get the Incarnum activated. Had it continued long enough, he might have had to revive, and I would have held that against him, because you could see his health was dropping fairly quickly there at the end. Whereas with the Gauss Prime, survivability was never a question, and that's because of rapid regeneration on the shields. He can't use that, but he can use adaptation. So I do have adaptation on there. Yeah, it's a bit of a it's almost impossible to do a perfect comparison. I mean, his advantage there is would have been a heavy attack and rapid the rapid wind up, which I obviously was using because I always do. So, yeah.
Down below the valleys lies a deep, deep mine. What's on your mind, dreamers?
Nothing much. I'm just having a look to see. Necromech. I'm not going to be doing this right now. I'm just having a look. So I've been, going for a couple of hours.
Later.
I mean, in some ways, you could argue that favored Kullervo because yeah, I know exactly. I know. Like I say, this is all of a bit of a joke, really. It's not intended to be definitive. Yeah, I think I had Steel Charge on the Gauss as well. Let's have a little look. Oh no, I had Sprint Boost on. That's a bit cheaty on my part. No, this is what I would typically do. So he is not as fast as normal. That was actually slower than normal. So you could always argue, well, he wasn't at optimum. No, he wasn't. I normally, instead of Arcane Strike, use... What do I normally use on him? Oh, hang on a second. I'd have to go check. No, Arcane Strike and Arcane Prime Recharger. Eh. On melee kill, yes. So this is critical hit. Arcane Prime Recharger. That would typically be what I would use. Yeah, can't use Fast Deflection on for obvious reasons. But yeah, they had a combination of adaptation and Fast Deflection and its own passives make Gauss surprisingly hard to kill. But I mean, if I go with my usual setup, so stick the Natterak on, grab. Where's the Velox? Yeah. And yeah, I would normally use As everybody knows, I am more likely to use, yeah, Gauss Prime, aren't I? And so now his sprint speed is up. Yeah, it's all a bit it's one of those things. It's interesting. It makes for, I don't know whether it makes for an interesting live stream. You know, what would you, yeah, and then and it depends on your gameplay. I'm not very good at certain types of gameplay, and I fully admit it. Always have. Gauss suits me. So does Titanium Prime. Even though they're quite different, those two suit me. I think in the case of a Gauss, it's because I can get into and out of trouble very, very quickly. With Titanium Prime, you can also get into and out of trouble very, very quickly, but it flies, and what's not to like about flying? If I reran that same one with Titanium Prime, that would be interesting. Actually, that would be an interesting little test to run Titanium Prime through that. Very tempted, actually. That is my default. And that's my default pretty much. Don't know why it's set to magnetic, but in that particular fight, you might be advised to, nah. Oh, this one's kitchen sink mode. But puncture no longer. Why do I have trick mag? Oh, yeah. Why do I have trick mag on there? That's no use. That's completely useless. I mean, there's not much else I can stick on there, to be honest. Yeah, this might be worth a try. Only thing I don't like is, okay, this, I know this says single elemental and it's got radiation and lightning. Primed heater charge. And where is it? Oh, convulsion. I mean, I would want to stick on... Yeah, that's going to be difficult to fiddle, isn't it? Hang on, let's see. Pop on deep freeze instead. Not enough capacity. Of course there isn't, because I don't have... Oh, that works. Yeah. Go with blast and radiation. Ooh, that looks nice. So let's just give her a quick little run. Yes, I know the wings get in the way. I'm sorry. I like her with wings. Makes her look like the Angel of Death. Nope. Yes. Let's see how she does with this, just for fun. Yeah, Styanax actually looks interesting. Am I really doing this again? Apparently I am. This is really playing to her strengths as well. Oops, sorry.
A new data conduit is open. Our experiment moves to a new zone.
Hello, Araxia. So, answers in the comments below. Who do you think will end up the better of the three in this?
A new data conduit is open. Our experiment moves to a new zone.
Times like this, I wish I had a bigger magazine.
A new data conduit is open. Our experiment moves to a new zone.
Yeah, probably right. Do drone kills count? Yeah, it definitely takes longer. Yeah, it's getting harder now. The thing I found out today, too, is, well, I kind of should have known, is that for disruption missions, she's very good for hunting down the, oh, what they call them. I can never remember what they're called. The ones that detonate. She's very good for that. Oh, right. Oh, okay. I'll have to look at that. I've really got to spend... It's one of these things. I've got to spend so much time with everything. Yes, the Demolist. That's it. Yeah. She's very good for hunting those down. Yeah, best frame for that. Simply because you can get there so much faster. Just, oh, that's where they are on the map. You don't have to run. You just fly straight there. Wonderful. No, I don't like it, but with Titania doing the hunting down, yeah, it's a lot better. Oh, I'm alone now. Everybody went off and left me.
You exceed.
And guess who got the most kills? Titania got more kills than the melee next. That's actually to be expected, but still.
Does the Uno ever leave that tower? Can she leave that tower? Who is she? What is she?
Right.
Someone
I am going...
Give it up.
Hang on. Nova. Okay, I'm actually gonna have to stick that on. Oh, hang on a second. I haven't hugged the helmet monstrosity. Alright, where's... Here we go. Which... Neutron star? Null star. I think that's the one you mean. Oh, right. Yeah, that looks fairly cool. And let's see. Infuse it into... Not Razor Wing. Not Tribute. Put it on Spellbind. I never use Spellbind. I'll try that at some point. Won't be this evening because I am now getting hungry. Do you think I've got enough nanospores? Oh, you can feed it rune marrow. Oh, heck no. I'm so awkward. Oh, wow. Okay, there we go. Right, I'm going to have to try that at some point. Thank you for the idea. I definitely need to spend more time. It's like all these things. I need to spend more time with absolutely everything.
Ordis is angry. I may require maintenance after all.
Right. Okay, so I am going to go and get something to eat now. As you know, it's the weekend coming up, so show off. As you know, it's the weekend coming up, so in principle, if I do a stream in the evenings, it should be Soulframe. There almost certainly will be an experimental live stream, probably tomorrow or Sunday morning. It's going to be dependent purely on all kinds of things. But I think you were both present yesterday when I talked about the experimental live stream I'm proposing, which should be interesting. If nothing else, the word experimental in a stream title gets people watching. I have absolutely no idea why. Even if I say something in the description like, do not watch this, it's experimental. Anyway, I hope you all have. If I don't see you over the weekend, I hope you have a great weekend, everybody. If I do see you, I hope you still have a great weekend. Thanks again for watching. It's much appreciated. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for any subscribers. I don't think I got any, but during that stream, but who knows? Nope, I didn't. So if anybody watching feels like helping the channel grow, that would be appreciated too. I will see you all next time.